Hello and welcome to the evening news for today, Wednesday, June 11, 2014. I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, Ogle stabbing victim identified as 17-year-old Montrose resident. Lone gunman carts off $1.3 million from Camberville Post Office. GCOM calls for cap on campaign financing. Pomeroon farmer commits suicide. Carol Suba cleared of wrongdoing in use of City Hall funds. And roadside meat vendor wounds public works staff. The injured person, who was found on Monday evening at Ogle Access Road on the east coast of Demerara and subsequently died while receiving medical attention, was identified by relatives this morning. Dead is 17-year-old Bakar Aziz, called Andy, of Lot 121, 3rd Street, Montrose, on the east coast of Demerara. Speaking to this newscast, the young man's sister, Shivani Singh, related that they received several calls on Tuesday evening from friends and relatives who heard of the news that the teen had died after being stabbed. The woman said at first she did not believe, but after her younger brother did not come home the night before, that's on Monday, she immediately contacted her mother and they went to the Georgetown Public Hospital. The sister, along with the teen's mother, went to the hospital but was not allowed to view the body, so they returned this morning and confirmed their worst fear. Aziz was found on Monday evening at around 20 hours 30 with a stab wound and was rushed to the GPHC, where he succumbed while being treated. This newscast was told that a little boy had seen a man stabbing a teenager before running away. The police are conducting investigations into the killing. A lone gunman robbed the Camberville Post Office this morning. Let's find out more in this report.
Less than a week after gunmen stormed the Suicide Post Office, escaping with an undisclosed sum of money, the postmaster and a staff member of the Camberville Post Office were this morning relieved of a bag containing $1.3 million by a lone gunman. Based on information received, the brazen daylight robbery was committed at about 8 hours 27 by a man who posed as a customer at the facility. From all indications, the man might have been staking the location and was knowledgeable that old age pension would have been paid today. This newscast understands that moments after the postmaster and the staff arrived at the location with a bag containing the money, the man carried out the attack. He would have also collected an undisclosed sum of money that was in the post office at the time. After grabbing the bag, he ran out of the building, jumped onto a waiting motorcycle, and sped off the scene. Public Relations Office of the Guyana Post Office Corporation, Talicia White, told media operatives that the robbery has forced them to refer a number of pensioners to other locations close by to complete their transactions. White added that it is a norm for a post office to transport money under heavy security guards, but according to reports, the guards would have already left the premises after escorting the postmaster and the staff with a bag containing the money. No arrests were made thus far as police continue their probe. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM, Dr. Steve Surajbali, said a cap must be placed on campaign financing, lest the country runs the risk of becoming a narco state. Svetlana Marshall reports.
Chairman of GCOM, Dr. Steve Surajbali, said if the financing of national election campaigns remain unlimited, the state can be infiltrated by drug lords or criminal elements. At the time he was speaking at a public forum on local government elections at the Pegasus Hotel hosted by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Can we in fact institutionalize a system that would put brakes on this campaign financing? My own opinion is that we must. With all the wards, we must. Because if we don't, the repercussive effects can be very destructive of the state.
Although acknowledging the rising challenges in curbing campaign financing, the chairman said GCOM continues to search for methodologies and criteria to put a cap on the financing of election campaigns. In addressing the issue, Commissioner of GCOM Vincent Alexander said the existing laws governing campaign financing are inadequate.
GCOM works with the law that's given to it, and we really don't have something to work with at this point in time. I don't think that we have seen the political will at the level of the legislature to put in place laws that will really deal with the question of control of the financing.
In May 2013, the Organization of American States, OAS, hosted a symposium in Barbados where 42 participants representing electoral management bodies, governing and opposition parties discussed measures to strengthen the regulation of political parties and political financing in the region. A recent meeting to further discuss the matter was also held in Trinidad and Tobago. Svetlana Marshall reporting for the Evening News.
A 29-year-old farmer from Siriki, Upper Pomeroon River has ended his life tragically after he could not cope with some domestic problems. Dead is Clive Kanai of Siriki. According to information received, Kanai ingested some poisonous substance last Wednesday. He was admitted to the charity Oscar Joseph Hospital, where he succumbed. Kanai is a popular handicraft designer and was said to having two relationships at the same time, which spurred problems in his home. Consequent to the failure of the government to issue the order for local government elections to be held, the United Kingdom has said that the rule of democracy in Guyana is under threat. More in this report.
British High Commissioner to Guyana, Andrew Eyre, has added his voice to the numerous calls for the holding of local government elections here, saying that the political gains of the country as a democracy are under threat due to the delay in holding the polls. He said that the decision to not have local government elections is a stain on Guyana's international standing. Not only are the reasons given a clear breach of Guyana's constitution, they are also a clear breach of the Commonwealth Charter. Speaking at a reception to celebrate the birth anniversary of Queen Elizabeth at his residence in Bel-Air Gardens, Prime Minister Samuel Hinds, who was at the time speaking at the event, said the government is cognizant of the effects of not hosting local government elections. He said that the issue should remain local and it would soon be dealt with by the government. Despite several calls from the opposition, a Partnership for National Unity (APNU) and the Alliance for Change (AFC), as well as the passage of a motion in the National Assembly for local governments elections to be held by August 1st, President Donald Ramotar has not budged. At a recent press conference, PPPC's General Secretary Clement Rohi said that the government stands ready for the hosting of the elections. However, he opined that it is the opposition parties that are not ready for the critical polls to take place. Reporting for the Evening News, Gomati Gangadin.
In the courts, Gerald Ward today appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Magistrate Faith Magusti after he was charged with the possession of narcotics. The charge stated that on June 7, 2014, police acting on information received by credible sources went to the defendant's house and carried out a search and found 3 grams of cannabis in a black plastic bag in his bedroom. The defendant was fined $5,000 by the court. Join us after the break for more news. This is the Evening News on TV. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. The Global Environment Facility, the GEF, has approved $880,000 for the execution of a medium-sized project entitled Enhancing Biodiversity Protection through Strengthened Monitoring, Enforcement and Uptake of Environmental Regulations in Guyana's gold mining sector. According to a release, this timely approval from the GEF coincides with the attendance of Natural Resources and the Environment Minister Robert Posad at the 5th Assembly of the Global Environment Facility in Cancun, Mexico last May. The Assembly meeting is held every 3 to 4 years and serves to review and evaluate general policies and the operational structure of the institution, inclusive of its 183 member countries. The Minister took the opportunity at this forum to discuss the environmental challenges in Guyana within the context of sustainable development and other international development goals. Chairman of the People's National Congress Reform, Basil Williams, is contending that the Walter Rodney Commission of Inquiry has been degenerated into a soap opera. According to the party, which has been figured in the 1980 assassination of Dr. Rodney, the commission must return to terms of reference number 1. Svetlana Marshall reports.
People's National Congress Reform Lead Attorney in the Dr. Walter Rodney Commission of Inquiry, Basil Williams, said after spending hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars, the COI has faltered. According to him, it is yet to be proven that Dr. Walter Rodney was indeed assassinated.
There is cogent evidence that Walter Rodney's death was caused on the occasion of, and I quote, a terrible accident, end of quote, according to his brother, Donald Rodney, who was the only eyewitness to his death.
Speaking as the leader of the opposition office, Williams contended that the COI has unfortunately taken on the characteristics of a soap opera.
The testimony of the witnesses has been a chorus line of hearsay, second-hand knowledge, opinions, guesswork, and generally of statements normally inadmissible in a court of law. For example, Karen D'Souza. When I saw Walter in the car, my thought was, Lawrence Rodney, I believe Walter's death.
Williams ruled out the testimony given by the former PNCR executive Joseph Hamilton, who is now the Health Ministry's parliamentary secretary.
The House of Israel, you would have recognized that Mr. Iyusi Koyano admitted that his organization, ASCRIA, brought Rabbi Washington to Guyana, and that the PPP, via the late President Janet Jagan, was somebody who he interfaced with. So Rabbi Washington was not a problem created by the People's National Congress at the time. The other question about House of Israel in terms of Mr. Hamilton, I don't think anyone believes, whether in Guyana or in the diaspora, that he was a witness whose credibility was not shaken.
According to the PNCR, it remains hopeful that the Guyanese people would find comfort, peace and genuine closure at the end of the Commission of Inquiry. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Svetlana Marshall.
British High Commissioner Andrew Eyre has said that the time for playing politics over the passage of the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Bill is over. Let's find out more in this report.
British High Commissioner Andrew Eyre said that the likely blacklisting of Guyana by the Financial Action Task Force will put a dent in the financial progress made by the country over the years. He noted that the situation is still avoidable and the government and the opposition should work together and adopt the revised Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Bill.
Guyana is at a pivotal moment in its history. The likely blacklisting of your country by the Financial Action Task Force may reverse many of the hard-won gains. It was avoidable and might yet still be avoided. But to do so needs immediate action to adopt and implement the numerous recommendations that FATF requires of us all, including carrying out investigations into complex financial crime. The UK, with our US and Canadian partners, have worked hard over the past 18 months to assist, including through offers of training and mentoring. I do not know why this work, which requires no new legislation, has not been done. The UK also calls upon the political parties to adopt, without further delay, the revised AML-CFT bill. The time for playing politics was over months ago.
Prime Minister Samuel Hinds echoed the call by the diplomat for the passage of the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Bill.
And I agree wholeheartedly with you that the necessary legislation must be passed soonest to avoid the escalation of the difficulties already being experienced. Excellency, you are speaking to the converted.
Over the past months, both the opposition parties have been at the loggerhead over the passage of the legislation. Guyana has been referred to the Financial Action Task Force by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force, where it is expected that sanctions will be imposed on Guyana as a result of the country's failure to strengthen its anti-money laundering laws. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
The Alliance for Change, the AFC, and a Partnership for National Unity, APNU councillors have slammed the Region 2 administration for substandard work done on several roads. Speaking at a special meeting held recently, the councillors made known their reservations of the potholed roads. AFC councillor Nate Ram said 2 roads recently constructed in Charity and Anna Regina are in a state of disrepair as he questioned the regional engineer Parswati Latchman on the works done. APNU's councillor Wazir Latif also said in a recent visit to Queenstown he saw a road that was recently built eroding. The councillors called on the Department of Roads and regional engineer to launch a thorough investigation into the deterioration. Meanwhile, Latchman, the regional engineer, said he's aware of the defective work and a letter has been sent to the contractor. He said too that payment for the contractor has been delayed. A flash mob performance was conducted today at Scotiabank's Robb Street branch to promote awareness for sickle cells. More in this report.
I need you to shine on me. I look to you. I look to you.
The Sonia Noel Foundation for Creative Arts and the Guyana Sickle Cell Association performed a flash mob in Scotiabank's Robb Street location today to raise awareness for sickle cell in Guyana. A number of models and some sickle cell carriers were a part of the performance. The SNFCA has an upcoming walk and fashion show on the 21st of June 2014, all to raise funds for the Guyana Sickle Cell Association.
I'm one of the patrons of the Guyana Sickle Cell Association. So, I was approached by Nurse Bond and the others, and I thought about it. I talked about my schedule and how hectic it is. But then when I thought about sickle cell being it's not a lot of people know about it, and it's a learning process for me too. So I thought it would be good to lend my name to something to create awareness and to raise funds.
Vice President of the Guyana Sickle Cell Association, Grace Bond, expressed her gratitude over the activities planned to promote sickle cell awareness in Guyana.
I cannot tell you the exact figure, but it is estimated from research which was done in Jamaica and taking into consideration the population, the African descendants in our country. It could range from like 500 to about 3,000.
Choreographer of the flash mob, Jennifer Thomas, stated that though it was a bit challenging to work with models instead of dancers for this piece, they pulled through and it was very successful. Another flash mob is set to take place on Friday at another Scotiabank branch. For the evening news, Jalicia Pinder.
Join us after the break for more news. Welcome back. This is the evening news on TVG. Acting Town Clerk of the Georgetown Mayor and City Council, Carol Suba, has been cleared by the Guyana Police Force and the Minister of Local Government on the allegations of misspending the council's funds. More in this report.
This information was revealed to media operatives at the mayor's press conference, which was held on Tuesday afternoon at City Hall. According to the Mayor Hamilton Green and Deputy Mayor Patricia Chase Green, this information was communicated to them by the Commissioner of Police, Silal Prasad. They related that a letter which was written by the mayor was sent to the Auditor General and the Police Commissioner for an investigation to be launched into the alleged misspending of some $500,000 by the town clerk. However, the minister reportedly sent a letter to the Auditor General and the Police Commissioner relating that he had held talks with the Attorney General and he was advised that the payment was done following established accounting procedures at the Mayor and City Council. The money was allegedly used by the town clerk for the payment of legal fees for a private matter. Chase Green disclosed that the council was not satisfied with that decision since the matter was concluded in the favor of Suba after the minister intervened. She noted too that at no time was that decision communicated to them and they had only learned of it through the Commissioner of Police, Silal Prasad.
And we have now imposed upon you where the government is going to the lengths, the depths and the width of everything possible to cover up this unprofessional, unqualified young lady.
The deputy mayor related that they will not be taking the issue lightly and the minister must say by what authority he is intervening in the internal affairs of the Georgetown municipality, especially when the Auditor General's office ought to be independent and guided by certain regulations. Gomati Gangadan reporting for the evening news.
A Ministry of Public Works employee was attacked and wounded last Friday after he attempted to remove a roadside meat vendor operating on government reserves at New Hope on the east coast of Demerara. It was related to this newscast that 4 days prior to the incident, the vendor was given a notice of violation with respect to the erection of a permanent structure in the reserves, the penalties which can be faced, and the necessary steps which should be taken to receive approval for the erection of structures. The vendor refused to comply with the notice, which led to the ministry demolishing the permanent shed he had built. In a show of defiance, he reportedly placed a stand and continued to sell at the location. It was at this time that the workers approached him and informed him that he had to move. In the process of removing the meat knives and cutters, the vendor pulled a meat saw and attacked the staff. One employee sustained a cut to his right arm. The matter was reported to the police, who are in the process of pursuing charges. People's National Congress Reform is calling on the government of Guyana to ensure that graduates of the University of Guyana Law Department are admitted to the Wooding Law School at the start of the new academic year 2014-2015. Sultana Marshall reports.
The People's National Congress Reform notes the agony and anxiety of our law students as they ponder their future as to whether they will have the opportunity to complete their studies and take their rightful place at the bar. The government appears to be at its wit's end in resolving this imbroglio of its own making. The question may well be asked, and I quote, is Nero fiddling while Rome burns?
That was chairman of the People's National Congress Reform as he addressed the press at the lead of the opposition office on the challenges being faced by law students at the University of Guyana. Williams said, in addition to ensuring that the 2014 graduates are admitted to the Wooding Law School, the government should find a lasting solution to this vexed problem. Early in the year, the Council for Legal Education indicated that it would not be guaranteeing any of the 25 places usually offered to Guyanese students at the end of the degree program at the Turkine campus. Jamaican Queen's Counsel Jacqueline Samuels-Brown, who heads the Council for Legal Education, had explained that the Trinidadian-based law school has limited space due to the influx of students from across the Caribbean and would require expansion. This issue is still being resolved by the Government of Guyana through the Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nanlal.
17-year-old Talicia Vincent today appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Magistrate Faith Magusti after she was charged with simple larceny. The charge alleged that on May 15, 2014, at about 11 hours 30, she went to Shondell Professional Hair Salon and saw the complainant place her handbag in a drawer. The complainant left and went to collect a bag of water, thus leaving the accused alone. Upon her return, she found both the bag containing a sum of $125,000 and the defendant missing. A report was made and investigations were carried out, and a teen was arrested. The accused pleaded guilty to the charges and her family is to pay back the money stolen. She is to return to court on June 11, 2014 for a probation report. Join us after a break for your regional, international, bridge and ferry reports. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. This is the Evening News on TVG. In the region, St. Lucia's Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony has urged public sector workers to make sacrifices to preserve the jobs of their fellow workers as government seeks to resolve a fiscal crisis facing the 31-month-old administration. He said government told the unions and the associations that it does not want or intend to retrench any worker unless it is placed in a position where it has no other option. Anthony, who's also the Minister of Finance, said it was a time for everyone to make sacrifices. He said the harsh truth is that growth in wages and salaries in the public service over the past 10 years has not only been completely disconnected to the growth in the economy, but it has far outpaced growth in wages in the private sector. Internationally, Indian police say a woman's body has been found hanging from a tree in a village in Uttar Pradesh. The district police chief told the BBC a post-mortem would be held to see whether the woman was raped. Her family has reportedly said she was gang raped. It comes weeks after two teenage girls in the same state were gang raped and found hanging from a tree, prompting protests against attacks on women. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said protecting women should be a priority. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. We now take a look at your bridge reports. The Damrar Harbour Bridge will be closed on Thursday, June 12, 2014 at 14 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours, and the Berbice River Bridge will be closed at 15 hours 55 on Thursday, June 12, 2014 for a period of 1.5 hours. And for those of you using a ferry service, the Supanam and Purika ferries are slated to depart their respective locations on Thursday, June 12, 2014 at 16 hours. Both ferries are also slated to return to their respective locations on Thursday, June 12, 2014 at 4 hours. Join us after the break for sports, sponsored by Macop. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Now for a look at sport, but first the headlines. Kumar blasts Cameron and Sanasi for removal of test match. Host venue agreement signed for Limacol CPL games in Guyana. El Dorado renews Limacol CPL partnership, and Pele believes too much pressure on Neymar. Of course, this podcast comes to the kind compliments of Macor.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. But that is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Macor, let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. Now for the details. We start off with some cricket news. 2 players have joined the under-19 component of the Guyana Amazon Warriors, taking the number to 6 for this year's Limacol CPL. Batsmen Shimron Hettimaya and Akshay Prasad have been drafted in to join Tejnarain Chandapal, Kimo Paul, Daniel Bazdio and Kevin Paul. The inclusion of the youth players is primarily a move geared at those players' total development, according to a release from the franchise. The under-19 lads will be part of the preparatory camp from July 1 to 8, as well as all other team activities during the Guyana Amazon Warriors home games on July 17, 19 and 20 at the Guyana National Stadium, Providence. West Indies Cricket Board President Dave Cameron and Secretary of the Guyana Cricket Board Anand Sanasi have come in for severe criticism from Director of Sport Neil Kumar for their perceived role in the removal of the 3rd Test match between the West Indies and New Zealand from Guyana. Kumar, during an exclusive interview with this newscast today, blamed the duo for robbing Guyanese of seeing a son of the soil, Shivnarain Chandapal, live in action. A visibly perturbed Kumar laid the blame squarely at the door of the West Indies Cricket Board, calling the move to switch the Test match to Barbados as nothing but disgraceful. According to Kumar, much work had been done to get the country in a state of readiness for the June 26 to 30 game.
The government of Guyana, the administration of the Providence Stadium, put all systems in place, allocated and prepare the place, the hotels. The Guyanese people in the diaspora, they are in communication with me. They are prepared and willing to come here. And here is where this dirty set of people, this clique, right, remove this test match from Guyana. When we are so well prepared, we are open. We want to see our Shivnarain Chandapal in flesh and blood play at the Providence Stadium, and they have removed it. It's hurtful.
Kumar also chastised Secretary of the Guyana Cricket Board Anand Sanasi as a sitting director of the West Indies Cricket Board for allowing the Test match to be moved from his home country.
This is most vindictive and this is most shameful by Anand Sanasi, who is said to be the Secretary of the Guyana Cricket Board. He's a director. I have enjoyed a good relationship with everybody. I tried. But for the president of the West Indies Cricket Board to come and remove the test match here, it's disgraceful.
This is the second time in 3 years that the West Indies Cricket Board has pulled a test match from the Guyana National Stadium because of what they claim to be political interference. In 2012, the 3rd test against Australia was moved to Windsor Park in Dominica. Also, regional first-class games scheduled for Guyana that year were relocated to Dominica. The West Indies Cricket Board and the Guyana government have not been able to find a mutually agreeable resolution pertaining to the Cricket Administration Bill, hence the test match was relocated. El Dorado Rum has renewed its sponsorship of the Limacol Caribbean Premier League for 3 more years, enabling fans of the hugely successful cricket tournament to enjoy the liquid gold of Guyana alongside scintillating T20 cricket. In addition to being the official partner to the league, El Dorado has also signed on as an official partner to the Guyana Amazon Warriors and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel franchise teams. The El Dorado Rum was among the first partners when the Limacol CPL launched in 2013 to sold-out crowds, with over 250,000 spectators attending matches across Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Lucia and Trinidad and Tobago. Global stars including Chris Gayle, Kieran Pollard, Ricky Ponting and Mutaya Moore-Lutheran took part in the tournament, dubbed the biggest party in sport. With just a month until the start of CPL 2014, anticipation and excitement is already reaching fever pitch. Following the draft in April, this year's competition is set to be even bigger and better, with the Caribbean's finest players set to be joined by cricketing superstars like Kevin Peterson, Corey Anderson and Brad Hodge. Meanwhile, the Guyana government has signed the host venue agreement with the Limacol Caribbean Premier League, confirming Guyana's hosting of its leg of the Limacol CPL T20 tournament, scheduled to be played at a national stadium, Providence. Roger Bisnot reports.
The agreement was formalized on a Tuesday afternoon between the Guyana government and Limacol CPL officials in the boardroom of the Sport Ministry. Speaking just before the official signing ceremony, Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony said the Guyana government is once again happy to be part of the Limacol CPL since T20 has without a doubt changed the cricket world.
So we're very happy to once again be part of Limacol CPL, and I'm sure that the people of Guyana who always support cricket in a very big way, that we will see a packed stadium on the days and the evenings when we have these matches. A lot of people look forward to high quality cricket, and I think the T20 offers this form of high intensity, great entertainment type of cricket, and I'm sure we'll have lots of people coming out. So once again, let me thank Limacol CPL for having the confidence in us to be able to offer a venue for these matches. And I can assure you that the staff at the stadium is ready to make sure that this is another success.
Meanwhile, General Manager of the Guyana National Stadium, Anthony Chaffeer, disclosed that while the Stadium Authority is disappointed by the removal of a third test match between the West Indies and New Zealand, preparations are moving apace for hosting the Limacol CPL matches here.
We are in a continued state of preparedness. We were just recently disappointed that we were not able to have the test match played at the stadium. So while we were preparing for that, we are now fully in top gear now for the CPL T20. The visits have been paid by the CPL team, and so far they have been pleased with what we have done and what they have at the stadium.
Manager of the Guyana Amazon Warriors, Omar Khan, in his remarks said that government support is essential for the hosting of the games here, since according to him, international matches have certain standards and government plays an important role in ensuring that those standards are achieved.
The hosting of the CPL is very important that we get the support of the ministry, and in this particular case, the minister and the PS with regards to the rental of the stadium or use of the stadium, National Stadium Providence, for the hosting of the games. It's not just a simple matter of us just showing up and saying that we have a schedule and we're going to be hosting games and so on and so date. At the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for both parties, and we need to ensure that both parties are comfortable with the agreement and both parties have a clear understanding of what is required from a governmental point of view, from the stadium management point of view, and from CPL's point of view. So at the end of the day, as you all will be aware, international matches have certain standards that we need to keep, certain things that we need to maintain.
The Guyana franchise, bought by new GPC through its Limacol brand, will play 3 games at home. On July 17, they will take on Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel, while on July 19, they will be up against St. Lucia Zouks, and July 20 against Jamaica Tallawahs.
Football news. Brazil legend Pelé is concerned that the striker Neymar is under too much pressure to inspire the hosts to World Cup glory. Neymar, aged 22, has not played in the World Cup but has scored 7 goals in Brazil's run of 9 successive wins. Neymar is young, Pelé told Gary Lineker in a BBC Match of the Day interview. He said, and I quote, "It is a heavy pressure for him to get all the responsibility," end quote. Brazil has won the World Cup a record 5 times but have not lifted a trophy since 2002. The hosts, who face Croatia in the tournament open in Sao Paulo on Thursday, won the 2013 Confederations Cup by beating the world champions Spain 3-0 in the final. And finally, some basketball news. In the NBA, San Antonio Spurs took a 2-1 lead in the best of 7 NBA finals with a 111-92 victory over the Miami Heat. It was a first home loss in the playoffs for Heat, for whom LeBron James and Dwayne Wade both scored 22 points. Kawhi Leonard scored a career-high 29 points for Spurs in a game they dominated from the start, hitting 19 of their first 21 shots, an NBA Finals record. The Game 4 is in Miami on Thursday. And with that, we have come to the end of sport, which is sponsored by MarCorp. And that's as well as a wrap on the evening news for today, Wednesday, June 11, 2014. On behalf of all of us here, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.